Hello everyone, and welcome back to Sip and Spin. My name's Skylar, and over here in a Bungo Stray Dog shirt is Brittany.
Hello, this is a variety podcast where we talk about anything, everything, and nothing. And how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. My hands are very cold right now, but otherwise I am good.
Yeah, she just put her hands all up inside the freezer.
And it's cold in general today, so that
It
didn't
is.
help.
It's very chilly.
Of course you're here now. What do you want, Richie?
Hi.
No, Richard got back and my family's been in town, so it's just been chaos. So the house is a mess right now. And then this morning, our coffee pot decided it was done with life.
Oh.
So we had to run to Walmart and get a new one because I don't not have coffee. Like, we have to have coffee in the morning. So we had to run out and get one of those. And while we were there, we just, took a look and just 2 PS5s chilling at Walmart. And I was like, look at that. They're finally becoming normal again. So I think it's because they're supposed to release, the new PlayStation 5 Slim or whatever. So I thought Richard was going to get himself one, but he ended up not doing it. So if anyone's looking for a PlayStation 5 still, they're at Walmart.
Nice.
So, it seems.
This has been a PSA.
Yes. The more you know. Yeah. Had Thanksgiving dinner yesterday. So that's
Very early
done with.
Thanksgiving.
We always do. The first or the second week in November. It's just when everyone can get together.
Gotcha.
Great.
Yes, if you hear thumping, that is Mochi's tail on the couch. She is having a time.
Just looking out the window at who knows what.
And just thumping with her little tail. There it goes.
Little drum. Anyway, what's up? What are we doing today?
So today we were doing movies. And it was my turn to pick the movie. And so I picked Begin Again.
Yeah.
Because I had never seen it. And our drink was Brittany's choice. So it was the Skylar and Brittany collab episode.
Yeah, and like I said, I had family in town, so it's crazy, so these are just leftover seltzers from my mother's house.
Cool. I'm down.
Yeah, so the peach seltzer.
Yay.
It's part of the limited edition celebration pack.
Ooh.
It just tastes like a normal peach seltzer to me.
Cheers. Yep, that's a peach seltzer. Peach is my favorite, so I'm happy with it.
Yeah. I like the rosé, that one the most, I think. And then the peach. Yeah. So, do we just dive in?
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Let's start us off.
Well, I didn't do any... Okay, so I'm just going to be real honest. I'm not here today. Okay. I'm here, but I'm not here. So I didn't do... These are probably the laziest notes ever taken on a movie. I didn't do any background notes. I think the biggest thing I know is that it came out in 2013. And that's about all I got.
Okay, so this is a movie that was written and directed by John Carney from 2013. Like Skylar said, rated R. It's about an hour and 40 minutes. It has 7.4 out of 10 stars on IMDb. It has a 62 Metascore. If that means anything to anybody. I don't really ever understand any of that. I'm just like, it's a movie. But yeah, basically it's about these two people kind of going through bad patches in their life. They meet each other, become friends, and begin again, essentially. Starting over, a second chance at life, essentially. And it revolves around music, so it's very musical.
Yes.
And a lot of really random cameos.
Yeah.
In the movie.
My first note was James Corden being in this movie was not expected, and also
the first thing you see is James Corden.
Yeah.
You're like, what are you doing here, sir?
And I was like, yeah, James Corden being in this movie was not
James
expected.
Corden's singing.
And also, what his character did in the movie was insufferable, much like James Corden IRL. So
yeah, I mean, there was a few people I was like, yep, that tracks. The Adam Levine. Jump scare.
Yeah, and I was
literally said, wait, is that Adam Levine? Ew.
Jump scare.
So, yeah.
And then one of my notes is just CeeLo Green with like...
I was going to say, and CeeLo Green
like multiple question marks and exclamation points. And I was just like, what?
It's very random. People are in this movie. And then the two main stars are freaking Keira Knightley and Mark Ruffalo. So you're like, what are all these other people doing in this movie? And Haley Steinfeld's also in this. So yeah, very random casting. But okay. Yeah, so you start off the movie, James Corden singing, and then he forces a very unwilling best friend, Keira Knightley, up to sing her song. And my note is, I'd probably strangle my friend if they ever put me in a situation like this, because that's not my friend.
Like, I was, like, my shoulders were so tense. I was like, ew, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
So forces her to get up and, like, sing her song that she wrote, and it kind of, like, bombs. No one's really feeling it.
Well, see, and I thought it was a very beautiful song.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was beautiful.
And so did Mark Ruffalo, who was in the crowd looking like the roughest man in the world with a crazy person smile on his face, staring at Keira Knightley. And you're like, man looks rough. And then you kind of get, so that's how the movie opens. And then it kind of goes back and shows you his POV and then her POV separately to, like, get to this moment in their life.
Yes.
Which I think that's fun. That's a nice way to do, like, an opening scene like that.
Yeah.
So you get Mark Ruffalo's POV, and he wakes up, and he's already going through it.
Yeah, I was just like, he's having an absolute nightmare of a time.
Like, that's just his life, it seems. So he's, you know, smoking, he's drinking constantly. He picks up his daughter from school, who's played by Haley. He's very dad about it. Oh, also, while he's waiting in the car to pick her up, he's, like, wigging from a flask.
Yeah.
And then she gets in, and she's like, what is that? Then he, like, says that smell is...
gasoline.
I smell gasoline. It's not alcohol. Like, there, he just kind of gave it away.
Very suspicious, Mr. Dan.
Yes, and then if they just have a conversation and something about her being in therapy or having a psychiatrist comes up, and he's like, what? You don't fucking need that. And I'm like, I'd argue, and a lot of people do, and you are at the top of the list, my guy. I think you definitely need to be talking to someone about your life.
Yeah, because I literally took her to a meeting. He got fired on the spot, and then they go to the bar. Like, he drags his teenage daughter into a bar, and that's when they're talking about, like, the psychiatrist, and he's like, you're 15 years old. She's clearly not 15.
Yeah.
And then...
like, he's not a good dad.
Makes her run from the bar.
Because first he's like, do you have money for these beers? And she's like, what?
She's
no,
like, I'm a kid.
I'm the child in this situation. And he's like, well, okay, we're going to have to run.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, good. Father of the year. So they run, and then he gets punched in the face. And she's very embarrassed.
Understandably so. And then you get to later, and you get to him at the bar. Yes. And he's listening to Keira Knightley sing, and he's picturing, like, this full production in his head.
Whole drunk hallucination of the band starts.
Yeah, there was a cello, violin, drums, but I do like how when he was picturing the full arrangement, like how that scene came out, it did come out really, really cool.
It was cool, but then, like, if you were just at that bar and you saw this man
just, like, in the crowd going...
yeah, and he's already pissed,
and
like,
he's, like...
drunk. You would probably steer clear of him.
Yeah.
And that's why when he, like, invites her out to have a drink, I was like, there's no way I'd go have a drink with this crazy ass man.
No, and especially because it was like, after he was like, here's my card, I can get you signed, and she was like, no, I don't want it. And then he's like, okay, bye. And then he's waiting for her outside. Yeah. And he's like, I'm going to be honest. I'm washed up. I got fired. I've got nothing going for me, but I loved your song. And then he's like, you want to grab a beer? And she goes, yes. And I was like, what?
I was like, in no world, especially in these days, as just a woman, I would never do that. It's just a strange, crazy man. It's like, I can get you signed. They're like, actually, I can't do that at all, but let's go have a drink. No! That's how you get murdered.
Yeah, that is the setup for, like, a murder scam. Like, that's the trap right there.
And then they're having the drinks, and then the audacity's like, "Oh, can you pay for these?" It's
Yeah.
like, you didn't learn the first time with your daughter. Now you're making this. I would be pissed if he made me also pay for his drink.
And it was like they were having, and he was like, "Yeah, you need to change your look and blah blah blah. Like, you know, you're too tomboyish." Like,
Yeah.
And then they started having this talk about like authenticity and like music and artist. And I was like, I want to see Greta just punch Dan in the nose just once. Like, I just.
Yeah, he got one today. He needed to rack him up with a few people. It would seem. So yeah, all of that happened, and then you get like her POV of like how she ended up at this bar with her friend and got dragged on stage. So she's also not having a good day. So her and her boyfriend, which jump scare, it's Adam Levine.
Yeah, and I was like, Adam Levine playing what I assume is the ex-boyfriend in which the relationship didn't end well because I assume he cheated is very fitting.
Yes. Fun fact though, the house that they look in, like move in when they're moving. So you come across them, like she's kind of reminiscing is how we get here, and you see that, I don't even know how long ago it was. But it was like her boyfriend of 5 years or something.
Yeah, they were together for 5 years.
5 years, and then they're moving to New York, so they're looking at this like apartment, or this house basically, and you know they have like this little montage of them being in their house, and then he's also a musician, so and she writes like his songs and stuff. Well, that house that they look at is his actual house with his current wife that he recently got in some cheating scandal with.
Oh, shit.
So, I was just like, a full circle little moment.
Yeah, because I knew recently...
Something about a TikTok person with him and something, it was...
I thought
it was his wife.
I thought it was another Victoria's Secret model that he cheated.
Because
his wife is a Victoria's Secret model.
Yeah, the one that starts with a B, right? Is her name?
I think so.
Yeah.
But I thought it was another model he cheated on. Or it was like
probably.
an OnlyFans girl, or so like an Instagram model.
Yeah,
something like that.
Social media, I think.
Yeah.
So I was just like, look how this little circle turned out. Because that is basically what happens in the movie also. So he goes on tour, and he goes out to LA to do something for like a recording, something, I don't know, I can't remember because I was barely paying attention during the Adam Levine scenes, I gotta be honest.
Although there was one before we get to that part.
Oh, okay.
When they were singing in the house, she was writing that song and he pulled up the video camera.
Yeah.
Lost Stars. Lost Stars is one of my favorite songs. And I did not realize it was from this movie. I had no clue it was from this movie, but I listen to it all the time. It is one of my favorite songs.
Oh, that's so funny. That's so random.
And I was just like chilling, like watching this movie. And then, you know, it was like the scene. He was like, "Oh, do that again. Like, I need to hear it one more time." Like, and he put up the camera and everything. And then all of a sudden she started singing Lost Stars. And I was like, huh? I was like, wait a second, what?
Oh, that's funny.
Because, it was just out of nowhere. I was shocked. Like, I was like, wait a second.
Does it ever, like, when you listen to it, did it ever show, like, the little picture?
Well, which, I was listening to it because I was playing for my liked songs. And, which, I guess my liked songs decided to give me a vibe today. Because the first song, when I hit shuffle on my liked songs that came on was After the Sun by Rini, R-I-N-I.
Okay.
And then I added Lost Stars to the queue. So I go to my like songs and I search and I type Lost Stars. And sure enough, when I look at it, it is the picture, but it never clicked with me because I didn't know what the movie was. I just saw it on, when I was looking for a movie, I was just scrolling through like movies on Hulu because I know we both have Hulu. And then it popped up and I was like, ooh, Mark Ruffalo. And so I just was like, we could watch this. I've never seen it. But it was just a movie I'd never like paid attention to. Like, I was just like, yeah. And then, you know, I just loved that song. But now that I've seen the movie, I'm like, holy shit, that is the picture from the movie. But it never clicked with me. I didn't know that.
That's actually really funny. So yes, Kylie learned what song she likes to sing. So yeah, and then he leaves to go to LA to like do something for, I want to say it's like a movie or
Yeah, I think he was recording like the soundtrack for a movie, and he was going to be in LA for a month.
Yes. And so he comes back, and he's like, "Oh, I recorded the song. I want your opinion on it."
Mm-hmm.
So they're like in the kitchen drinking wine, and he starts playing the song, and you just see her face drop.
Yeah, and then she hits him.
Oh, she punched the shit out of him, and she should have.
And I was like, I'm so confused. Why did she hit him?
It's very, until you, like, just see, like, she just, like, and then he does the lines, like, what are you, a fucking mind reader or something? Like,
yeah.
He's like, how did you know what this means? Because she, like, immediately picked up, I guess, that the song was written for another woman.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that.
Just,
I was like...
I guess because that's, like, supposed to be the thing. Like, that's her relationship. She would know.
Yeah.
If he, like, did any of this. And I took it to mean also that, like, she was the one who did maybe most of his writing of stuff like that. So the fact that he, like, wrote maybe something romantic or whatever on his own while he was away from her would also be probably, like, a red flag, maybe.
Well, see, but I thought a lot of the songs he had written himself were also about her. Like, he got his inspiration from her. So when he wrote the song, I was
just
like...
maybe too different.
Yeah, maybe, I guess. But it just...
Deep down, she just knew. So
yeah.
So it is kind of jarring, because they're literally just standing there staring at each other in the kitchen, and you just see her get really sad, and then she just smacks the ever-living shit out of him.
Yeah, and I was just like... But I was like, I'm so confused. Why did she hit him? And then I was like, okay, see, I called it that he cheated, but also don't understand how that scene played out. Like, what happened? Like, I'm so confused.
That's true. Like, she just realized, and then she was like, well, who is it about? It ends up being the person that works at their recording studio.
Mim,
yeah.
She was the assistant. Mm-hmm. It's always an assistant or secretary or something.
Oh, I guess there's always a power play there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that's fun. Oh, yeah, and his, like, one of my pet peeves, his, like, reasoning was, like, it just happened line. I'm like, no, it fucking doesn't.
Yeah, and for him to be like, oh, it just happened, like,
you wrote a whole song.
And then you wrote a song? Like, it didn't just happen. It wasn't like a one-night... Oopsie daisy.
Yeah,
it was like you wrote a whole damn song.
Clearly and he was just like, and I just need to see where it goes, alright? I'm not gonna give up on it or something. Or some other bullshit.
Yeah, like, he was like, I need to see it through.
Yeah,
and I was like, ew.
If a man ever said that about me, I'd be like, no the fuck you ain't. You can leave. See it through. Ugh.
Yeah.
It just happened. I hate both of them. And then so, basically, and then all that, she moves in, kind of starts staying with James Corden character, because they are friends, and that's how she wound up at that bar. And
which, it was funny when he was taking her to the bar, because she was like, no, I don't want to go, blah, blah, and he was like, no, you're coming, because if I come back, I'm going to find your head inside the oven. And I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's just a little depressed. Which, I mean, it's a 5-year relationship.
Yeah.
That happened, and that's how you back now in, like, the present day.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's, like, doing some more soul-searching, whatever, so she ends up giving Mark Ruffalo's character a call, and is like, hey, can you really do this? And, like, just flat out, like, let's make her, like, I want to do this now. Like, I'm in it, she wants, like, a change, kind of seems like maybe proving that she can type of thing. And also maybe as, like, a little redemption for this relationship that just ended, type of thing. So they go to his old company, and she plays live for his old partner, and he's not vibing with it. He's like, eh. Yeah.
And they also just freeballed this whole thing. Like, there was no planning whatsoever. Yeah, she was like, I don't have a demo. And he was like, fuck it. We'll just go anyways. like, y'all went into no plan whatsoever.
They're two very chaotic people. Like, you can tell. Like, this is how they're doing it, I guess. So, yeah, they just waltz up in there, and she just plays a guitar and sings live to him. And that's pitching her a record, basically. And so, he's probably blindsided, and he's just like, I don't think I'm feeling it.
Yeah, because he just fired this man the day before.
And he keeps showing up. He stole a painting when he fired him. Like, it was a whole thing. And then so they're like, all right. So then they do the next best thing is they're just gonna mosh posh.
Do it themselves. They're DIYing this record.
Literally. And they're doing everything. Also, they're doing all the recordings outside. Mm-hmm. And so he just has to go and he just collects all of these band members. So we get the 2 college kids. And he's just like, and he's all, to everyone, he's like, I can't pay you, but do this. It'll be fun. And
they're like, yeah, because he was like, yeah, I just need to find, bored musicians who have nothing better to do. And he did. Yeah, the 2 college students, a ballet piano.
That was so funny to me. That's the only one I wrote note about. It's like the ballet pianist. I was like, okay.
And then the drummer and the guitarist from fucking CeeLo Green's house. Yeah. Then she was like, we can't pay you. And he's like, CeeLo Green was like, I'll pay him. It's fine.
They're just hanging out in CeeLo Green's pool with them talking about all of this. So random.
But I did like the scene where they were like starting to like put everything together, like getting the musicians, like trying to figure everything out, because it was so like crazy and inspired and frenzied. And that way of making music is honestly so cool. Like, does it sound crazy? Yes. Is it probably a crazy idea? Also, yes. But that's what makes it, like, interesting. And that's what gives it that extra mile.
Yeah, it was a good, like, also, I think, look at just, like, the chaos and, like, the chaotic nature of just being an artist or being creative. That's kind of, like, what the inside of your brain looks like personified.
Yes.
Kind of thing. So that was very cool and made a lot of sense to, like, me.
Yeah, the way he was, like, going around and, like, he was, like, talking to the musician, going back to the computer and, like, doing that. And just, like, you could tell, like, he was, like, so frenzied while he was... And I was like, this is so well played out. Like, this is incredible.
Because, it is just, like, taking all of, like, the chaos in your brain and just, like, seeing it play out.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I get it.
I'm like, I understand this.
Yeah, and so then it finally is, like, kind of time to do, like, the first little recording.
Mm-hmm.
So they go into an alley and they just make it work somehow. They
bribe some 5 children.
There's some children playing, and they're like, they're like, you can hear them bleeding into the sound. So he's like trying to bribe these children to not play for like 5 minutes, and then they finally come to a negotiation because they keep like upping it. They all get to like split a cigarette or something
and get some matches.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Can you sing?" So then he brings these random children, which one of the children is Mark Ruffalo's actual son.
Oh, okay.
Fun fact. So they bring these just 5 random kids to sing backing vocals on this track, and it comes together. It works.
Yeah,
it's a fun concept.
And then after that, they. Greta and Violet start bonding, which was really cute, and then Violet got to play guitar on one of their tracks, which is so exciting.
Yeah, that was really nice. And there's also just kind of plays back into like how he's not a present father, because the whole time he was just like, oh, she's not good. Like, she won't be able to do this. Like, she's gonna ruin the track. And
well, her mother also said the same thing. She was like, when he asked her to come play guitar, the mom was like, no, you're going to embarrass her. She's not very good. And I was like, damn, y'all really have no faith.
Supportive parenting. But she does show up, and she does a great job. Mm-hmm. Everyone loved it. It was a hit. And he plays, like, bass also. It's like a father-daughter little moment. Mm-hmm. And then you also get, like, I can't remember if it's before that or, like, after that, you get to see, like, a little montage of, like, Dan and Greta also just, like, becoming closer, like, with the playlist, and there's, like, the one quote is, like, you can tell a lot about a person based on their playlist.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, that's why I'm scared to show you. Because it is, like, a very personal thing, like, music, and so you get this, like, just kind of, like, a quintessential just hanging out, walking around New York City, listening to, and it plays, like, the different music that they're, like, kind of vibing. They go to a club and don't listen to the club music.
Yeah,
just listening to their own
because Greta wanted to dance, and then so they go to a club and dance inside this club with their headphones,
listening to different music. So that's cute. It's fun.
And they also had they almost like blew up at each other.
Yes.
Which I loved that scene because I love it. Like, one of my favorite, like, tropes is when two people have an argument and it just boils over and one of them, like, admits something and the other person immediately stops arguing and it's like, oh shit, and then comforts them and then they have a deep talk about it. It's one of my favorite things that you can do. And, like, I love it.
Yeah, it is a nice moment. I do like that in media.
And then after that, she wrote a song for Dave and left it in his voicemail box.
Yes. And that's supposed to be like her like closure type of thing. And then he calls her back when she's recording like on the rooftop, like the big recording scene. Mm-hmm. And you know, he like wants to meet her. He's like back in New York again, so he like just went on tour, basically. So this took place over like a while, but we're condensing it into a very short segment. So he's back and she's probably not going to go through with it, but then she, like, sees everyone else, like, making amends, getting closure, like, Dan, his wife, type of thing, or, like, bonding again, his family, and she's like, you know what, let's do it, asshole, let's meet.
Yeah, because that was one, also, when they were recording the song to send to Dave, the fucking kazoo was so funny, because she just turns around and she's like, stop. Like, what are you doing?
That was funny.
But yes, the fact that she prefaced her text message with, okay, asshole, I was like, you go, Greta.
Yeah, she's not here to forgive.
Whenever they did the big recording, when it was like, the guy being like, turn off that music, and he's like, give us 3 more minutes, and he was like, I'm gonna call the cops, and he goes, don't call the cops. Yeah. I was like, I really kind of hope that makes it into the final cut of the song, because the whole thing was they wanted to do like sounds of the city, like they wanted to have
that is New York.
Yeah, they wanted to have like, you know, the sirens and the chatter and the wind and all of that stuff. And so I'm like, I hope to God they left, I'm going to call the cops. Don't call the cops in the final cut of the song.
Let's say they did. I do like that version a lot more.
But yeah, and I got really worried though whenever they met back up because he like kept like touching her hair. Yeah. And that was really weird to me. And I was like, this whole thing with Dave and Greta is weird. And I don't like that they're trying to push them back together, because that's what it felt like, that they were trying to get Dave and Greta to get back together, and I was like, I don't like that.
I think that's, you're supposed to like see like he wants that. It seems like, because like he's back on tour, he recorded an album and he wants her to listen to it, and so they like walk around and she's listening to it. And she also, like, plays him her songs that she's written, and he's like, oh, this is great, whatever, and she's like, oh, you should work with this guy who I'm working with, and he's like, well, my record's already done, like, it's recorded, it's remixed, and then he's like, listen to it, and so she listens to it, and there's, like, one specific song that she does not like at all what he is done with, and it's, like, his big...
And that's Lost Stars.
show song, because he changed it so much from what was originally like her vision, and he's like, well, you just gotta see it live, like, you know, people love it, and he's constantly like, so his whole thing is like he wants to be like a superstar, he like cares about the masses, and her thing is like, why do you care, like, it's not for them, it's for, you know, me, it's for you, it's personal. And it's like, oh, you just gotta come see it, you gotta come see it. And she's like, okay, maybe.
Yeah, and then when she's about to leave, and he's like, please come tomorrow and see it. And she's like, fine, but not if you play it like that.
Yeah.
So then she does go the next night. And
what does he do?
he plays
normal.
No.
He started out playing it like she wanted, but then he changed it at the end again. Right? Isn't that why she was upset and left?
I think so, but it's still, like, not what he originally played. I think it was but also, to me, it's weird because I hear the song all the time.
Okay, that's fair.
So, I've listened, like, this is one of my favorite songs. So, whenever I heard it at the end, he started with the stripped back.
Yeah.
But the song just built.
Yeah.
So, to me, it was just, like, a natural build. Like, you know, at the end, it got, like, more intense, but... To me, it's like, that's how it's supposed to sound. Like, that's the correct way for it to sound. So I guess for me, it's a little different looking at it because I'm like, it's one of my favorite songs.
That's
like,
fair, yeah.
he played it how the version I listened to. Because that is the version I listened to. And because what he was playing on his phone and like what she played at the very beginning, like the very stripped back piano version, that wasn't familiar to me. The version he played on his phone was not familiar to me, but the version he played live was.
Okay.
So I didn't see it as playing it the way that he didn't want her to play it, or that she didn't want him to play it. I just saw it as he was playing it. And because he saw her and she saw that he saw her, but in that scene, she got her closure. Yeah. And she didn't need to stay for the rest.
That's fair.
It's kind of how I took it. She was like, yeah, he's singing our song. And, like, I think she enjoyed the way he sung it. But she was like, I have my closure now. There's no reason for me to be here. And she was like, I'm happy, like, without him. I don't need him anymore. And so she just left. It's kind of how I took it, but that could just be me.
No, I like it.
But I was jamming that whole scene. I was like singing along. I was like, I fucking love this song so much. I was like, I love this song. Because it's such a pretty song. Like,
it is a nice song, yeah.
The lyrics are incredible. I mean, and, Adam Levine is a person.
He is a person.
He's something. But he is just an incredible vocalist. Like, he's a really excellent singer. Yeah. So, like, the lyrics and his voice, like, it's such a good song.
No, it was a good song. It was a good scene. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it was nice. And then we get... Okay, so I think before that, though, they go and they show the record that they recorded to the guy again, his old partner at the recording company. And he loves it. He's like, yeah, let's do this. But then what does she do?
Well, she starts asking about, like, payments and, like, how that works. And they're like, well, I just...
Makes a good point.
Yeah, because she was like, well, we did everything ourselves, so why are, like, these people... like, getting my money. Yeah. And then she goes, so I'm just wondering why you get 9 out of my $10. And I was like, you go, Greta, you tell him. And she's like, no, I don't want you to publish my record.
Well, I think he still thinks he's going to, but then behind his back, she goes to Mark Ruffalo, and she's like, we're not doing that. And he's like, okay, so what do you want to do? Like, you don't want the company to do... and also, she got him his job back.
Yes, yeah.
So that was another, like, stipulation for her, like, doing this. It's like, oh, you have to hire him back. And he's like, okay. And then she shows up to his house, and she's like, I don't want you to do my record. And he's like, okay, so what do you want to do? So what she wants to do is she just wants to put it on a website and sell it for $1.
Yep, $1.
And he's just like, are you really sure? Like, are you positive? Because, once we hit publish, there's no, like, we can't turn around and sell it to a company. Do
you want to do it for, like, $2? And she's like, capitalist.
Yeah. So, just $1, just to get her stuff out there. And he's like, all right. So they do it, and then he's at his office the next day, and his partner comes back, and he's like, did you see this? He's mad. He's like, did you know this was happening? And he's just like, No, I had no idea. It's nothing insane. To do with it. I can't believe she would do that. How much has she made? And he's like, 10,000. He's like, huh. Because CeeLo Green's character, like, tweeted about it on Twitter. Because Mark called it, or, Dan called, what was it, Thundergum? Was that his? Something, yeah. Something like that. So weird. I don't, yeah. It's like, okay, I'm going to tell him to tweet about it. Yeah. And then he turns around to his partner, he's like, if he helped her, it's just because they hit it off. Like, I'm sure if it wasn't me. And so it's just funny. And then he walks by. He's like, clean out your office. Yeah, clean out your locker. I was like, rip, he got fired again. That didn't last very long.
Oh, and also Miriam and Dan getting back together was not at all what I was thinking was going to happen at the end of that.
Oh, really? You
Yeah.
think him and Keira were going to be a couple?
I didn't think they were going to be a couple because I just saw their relationship as like a good friendship.
And I'm glad they weren't, like,
yeah.
It wasn't romance or anything.
Me too. I don't think I would have liked it as much if they ended up together, but I didn't think he was going to get back with Miriam. Like, after, like, that whole scene where he told Greta, like, what happened with Miriam and that other singer guy, I was like, oh, shit. Like, you know, and then they just are kissing on the bench, and I'm like, huh? You just forgave her? Like, because, I mean...
Yeah, I think he was always in love with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because even, like, when he goes to her house to take a shower, he's just like, you want to come in?
Yeah.
Just keeps trying to flirt with her. So, yeah, it was a surprising ending, but I was glad that it wasn't, like, a him and Keira thing. Because that was just... it'd be just, like, okay, that's not surprising. Like,
yeah.
It's more surprising when they're just friends anymore in Hollywood. So that was nice. It's not, like, a romance. It's, or, I guess... You could argue it's a romance about, like, music, like, the creative process, or whatever.
But I liked that they didn't end up together, because I think that would have taken away from, like,
everything away.
The importance of the story, and, like, their new beginnings.
The female lead can end something single. Hollywood. You heard it here first.
And she can be successful if she's single. Like, she doesn't have to have a man.
It's unheard of, I know. Any other points? Or anything you liked? What was your favorite part?
The live performance of
Lost
Stars. I mean, it just had to be, like, because...
That is actually very funny that it was a song you loved and you didn't realize.
I mean, I think I've listened to, like, Lost Stars since probably when I was, like, in college. Like, it's been, like, 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, it is an older movie.
Yeah, and I've, like, loved, but, like, I know I've loved this song for at least 5 years. I mean, I listen to it all the time. I know all the words. Sometimes I cry while listening to it. I just, like, it's such a beautiful song. So hearing, like, you know, it being performed and, like, for the first time in the movie, the way that I normally hear it was, like...
And now you have, like, this whole, like, story that kind of revolves around it, too, and...
Yeah, so definitely that had to be my favorite part. It couldn't have been anything else.
Nice. That makes a lot of sense.
What about you? What was your favorite part?
I like just all of the chaotic recording. Like, around, like, the street recording.
Those were really
really
cool.
Fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a really fun concept, and also just, like, kind of has, like, an art school vibe to it, because, like, you would just go around and do shit where you could, so it was very fun to kind of also just kind of see, like, struggling adults kind of go back to, like, a college mindset, or, like, just a kid mindset in a way, because that's a lot about being creative also, is to, like, break the rules and do weird shit, and it work out, and you're like, oh, this is amazing, this is so fun. So I like that, and just, like, I guess just how they handle just the creative stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like doing stuff like that. Writing down, you know, quotes on the back of a bar recipe because you don't have it. Something pops in your head and you have to write it down somewhere because you know you'll forget.
Yeah.
You don't have anywhere else to write it down.
Yeah.
You're like, write it on the back of a green tea shot flashcard of the recipe for how to make one of those.
Yeah, stuff like that. Love it.
Yeah, anything that's got, like, creative, like, scenes or, like, shows the creative process in a way that feels, like, real is always going to be amazing. Like, so cool.
Yeah, and I've seen this movie already before this, but I had probably seen it about 10 years ago when it came out, so I've forgotten a lot of it. That's why I was like, James Corden, Adam Levine, Green. Like, I forgot all of these people were in this fucking movie. So that was fun. It was pretty much like rewatching it the first time. But the whole time, I was just like, oh, I know what this reminds me of. Another movie I haven't seen in a really long time. It's called Once, Which you would probably like that because it's also like a music movie.
Sorry, I just got a really weird text message.
Okay. It's gonna be a no for me.
I'm not even gonna respond.
I was gonna say, I don't feel like you have to respond to that.
No, I'm just gonna delete that. That was weird. And also the way the number came through, like, where it was all just mushed together, I didn't like that either.
Yeah, I would just be like, this never happened.
Yeah, I just deleted the message. Yeah.
But no, it's a movie I also haven't watched in a long time, but I've watched that one a couple of times. So it's called Once.
Okay.
It's about, like, music and, like, a couple and, like, using music and stuff. And I was like, it reminds me of this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go, and it's the same director and writer.
Oh!
So that's why it reminded me so much. I was like, oh, shit! And then I was just looking through his other, like, I guess, filmography. And he's done a lot of, like, music-based movies and films. So I was like, okay, so that's just, like, his thing, I guess, this director. But I was just like, this kind of reminds me of Once. I haven't watched that in a while. And I was just, like, looking up any info I could think to remember for the recording. And I clicked on the director. I was like, oh, he did make Once. Like, that's why. Like, 3 years before he made this movie. I was like, ah, shit. So that was just funny.
I'll have to look at that movie because I've never seen that either.
I think you would like that one. It's a little more, like, romantic based, but it's sort of good. It's about a couple.
Hey, I love a good romance movie as much as the next.
There's a really good song that I used to love from that movie. I haven't heard it in a while, but... So what's your rating?
My rating is... 8 out of 10.
Okay. Nice. I think I'd give it like a 7. 7.5.
We're about at the same level.
Yeah. I mean, nothing wrong with it. It's just... I feel like a 7's good.
Yeah. It wasn't like the best movie I've ever seen, but...
It was a very chill movie. Yeah.
And that's why I feel like I didn't have, like, a lot of notes on it, because there just wasn't, like, a lot to say. Like, it was just vibes. Like, it was just vibes.
No, truly. It just kind of is a very chill movie. And it's also, I would argue, it's probably a movie you have to be, like, in the mood to watch to really, really be into it and really, like it. But it's not like it's not enjoyable. It's just, it's a very specific type of movie, I think, that a lot of people probably aren't as familiar with or know how to watch, if that makes sense. I think it takes a certain kind of mindset or just like a person to want to watch a movie like this.
Yeah. Probably definitely more creative people would like it, but...
Like, not someone who just wants to, like, turn their mind off and watch a superhero movie.
Yeah.
It is not that kind of movie. No, so, yeah.
But, yeah. So, that was Begin Again.
Yeah, and like I said, it was a short one because, like Skylar said, not a whole lot of notes.
Yeah.
We pretty much went through the whole movie. There's a lot, obviously, like, in the gaps.
Yeah.
And, like, different relationship buildings and, like...
And, like, bonding moments.
Yeah. But, yeah. That was the gist of the movie. It was good. It's good.
It was.
It's only like an hour and a half, too, so it's not like super long or anything.
When I went to go press play and it was like an hour and 45 minutes, I was like, damn, that's a short movie.
Yeah.
Like, that's not very long. Well, shall we spin for next week?
Let's do it.
Let me get my drawing wheel. I really hope that no one heard that.
I hope everyone did.
Did you hear how I said it?
I wasn't really listening.
I was trying to say drink wheel, and I said dwink wheel, and I was like, oh my god. And that's why I went, because I was like, I can't believe I just said that.
Lifting her baby dog. Oof.
It's like, I'm struggling today, y'all. Said, I've got 5 hours of sleep last night, maybe, if that. I got home at like 5 a.m. And then my dog woke me up at 8:30, and I was like, I'm not doing it. So I just went back to bed.
Nah, not for me.
And then, but by 10 o'clock, he was waking me up again, and I was like, okay, fine. I was like, at least it's 5 hours instead of 3 now. I was like, thank you for letting me get 2 more hours. Still not a lot, but it's fine.
Yeah. Damn dogs.
Let us spin.
All right.
So, super fun. Next week we're going to be talking about history.
And what are we drinking?
White wine.
Okay. We never get Skylar picks anymore.
Well, white wine is basically my pick.
That is actually very true.
It's kind of like how we've got basically, you know, Brittany and Skylar on here twice because there's white and red wine as well. And red wine would be a Brittany drink and white wine would be a Skylar drink. So
this is true. So technically. Because
next time, if we get a Skylar pick for the drink next time, we're getting fucked up again. We're doing lemon drops again.
You know how well that worked last time.
I know. That's kind of why I want to do it again. It was so much fun. I mean, except when we had to re-record everything because we forgot to save it or whatever the fuck happened.
I got a blackout, so who fucking knows? But you'll never hear it, so... Yeah, thankfully let's not do the lemon drops and history. I feel like that's a bad combination. But yeah, so next week we'll do history, which is just what it sounds like. We'll each pick a random topic pretty much from that has at least maybe some historical significance and talk about it.
Or just really old.
Yeah. But hopefully interesting.
Yes. But yes,
this is a short episode. I don't really know what else to say to drag it out. But...
Yeah, and because I wasn't very talkative at the beginning, so I was just like, "Yeah, I'm good. How are you?" I was like,
"Are you good?"
Because normally,
other than being tired.
I mean, I'm tired and I don't feel great.
Oh no!
But it's okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I'll live.
I mean, I hope so. But yes. Thanks for listening.
Oh, yes. And if you would like to find us, you can find us at Sip and Spin Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Or you can email us at sipandspinpod@gmail.com. If you would like to find Brittany, you can find her at Whimsy Dream or Whimsy Dreams. If you would like to find me, I am Gleam YKS on everything. But as always, the 3 link trees for myself, Brittany, and the show will be down in the show notes below.
Yes. Bye.
Thanks for listening. We'll sip with you next time.
Oh my god.
Well, you weren't doing it. It was weird.
You hate when I do it.
Yeah, but it's weird when you don't. It's part of our dynamic. You say it, I make fun of you, and so when you don't do it, it's odd.
It's my birthday week. You can't make fun of me.
I can.
Okay. Bye.
And I will. Bye.